Hello, Derane here, just going to be bringing some Karthus tips. This video is just about giving some tips to anyone who's either new to Karthus or maybe just wants to start playing him. A lot of people think Karthus is just an Archamp and there's no denying how powerful it is or how annoying it can be, but he's so much more than that. Okay, so at level 1 you want to be taking his Q, Lay Waste. I love Karthus' bombs as they allow for massive amounts of harass while still allowing you to farm. And because there's nearly no cooldown and only a small mana cost, you can spam these little guys and really cause some damage. Low mana and cooldown, what more can you ask for? But wait, there's more. The best bit about them is that if you hit a single target, their damage is doubled. So that means early game you kinda only want to be going for the enemy mid if he's away from his creeps, otherwise you'll just be wasting mana and screwing your last hits. But if you do manage to get him, you're going to be dealing some really nice damage. When placing your bombs, you've got to be watching your opponent like a hawk, anticipating where they're going to run. With half a second delay before the bomb actually goes off, your opponent can juke you kind of easily, so this takes some skill and some practice to get used to. Something to watch out for early game is how much movement speed your opponent has. I've come across some mids like Katarina that have enough movement speed with movement speed quints to be able to run away from my bombs and take no damage, even if they're placed perfectly. If this happens, you really just want to concentrate on your farm and wait for the jungle to come, or you can try landing your wall and getting some poke on them. Don't forget your bombs will grant you vision anywhere you place them, so you don't need to face check anymore. At level 2, you need to grab Karthus' W, the Wall of Pain. This is Karthus' only defense and you really need it. The 15% movement speed slow can devastate any jungler coming to gank you, as it will just waste their time, and it gives you the opportunity to get some nice poke on them, even forcing them back sometimes if you get them low enough. You need to watch yourself though, don't go tunnel visioning a jungler just because you get a slow on him. That mid is still going to be there and ready to jump on you. In late game, when you're team fighting, there are two ways I really like using Wall of Pain. Firstly, the most obvious, look for the squishy that's on its own, land it and start bombing the hell out of them. But if you can, it's amazing to cut the enemy team in half with. In some situations you'll get really lucky and the enemy team just aren't quite together, and you can split them in half by putting the wall right between them. Now what will happen is either the enemy team will either retreat, causing them to be slowed and easy pickings, or they will fight. And the rest of the team will either have to wait 5 seconds for your wall to go down because you've placed it perfectly, or they'll have to walk through it and take the magic resist debuff and the slow, meaning you have the advantage on like half of their team and should win the fight. Don't forget that the obelisks on either side of the wall grant vision, which can be really useful late game. Now you want to be careful for any enemy junglers coming at you with speed, like Rammus or Hecarim. If you pop the wall too early, they're just going to flash over it and still charge you. Wall of Pain is your gift to your jungler, and using it correctly when a gank is coming secures the kill. At level 3 you want to take your second point in Karthus' Q so that you can start to get some really nice single target damage. But at level 4 you want to take his E. Karthus' E is his Defile. Now Defile is a really cool spell, and let me tell you why. It has two different effects. Firstly, after you take it, you will regain some mana from whenever you kill an enemy unit. This is awesome because it allows you to have so much more flexibility in lane. You can build up some mana with last hits, then burst someone to low HP, go back, farm, and do the same. Get the kill, and once you get this right, it's rinse and repeat, win lane. When toggled, Defile will deal magic damage to all enemies in an area around Karthus. Early game, this isn't mana efficient, and unless you have blue buff, I wouldn't use it too much. To get the maximum amount of damage out of Defile, you need to be on top of as many people as possible in a team fight. But because Karthus is so squishy, you need to judge it right. You can use the very edge of Defile and still get the entire enemy team in it if your positioning is good. It's also great for securing those kills. Another way to make your Defile do as much damage as possible is by getting yourself a Zhonya's. As Zhonya's mixed with your passive will destroy the enemy team as long as they stay on top of you. But you can use your wall to slow to maximise your damage time. Something that is really useful to know is that if Karthus has max cooldown reduction, it's actually more efficient to spam Defile on and off than it is to wait for the ticks. But spamming that on top of your bombs whilst moving to adapt the team fight is tricky, but give it a try if you feel you're up to the task. Well, that's it for this episode. I hope you found this information helpful and the video enjoyable. As for Karthus' dreaded ultimate, you'll have to wait until next week as we go in depth with a video covering everything you need to know about how to use it. If you have any comments or suggestions, stick a comment in the section below. If you found this video helpful or you really enjoyed it, help us grow by subscribing to the channel and liking this video. Thanks for watching.
MOBAFIRE TV is sponsored by Origin and Razer.